But
Go ahead.
we're not here to talk about the weather.
Yeah, we're here to talk about
We're
other
here
stuff.
to talk about other stuff. And we're going to take a second, going to take some time to let the people know a bit more about you, Uncle G.
Okay.
Because if they listen back to the first episode, you know all about me and the movies and TV shows that I like.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you're a permanent co-host,
Okay.
I think it's best that we get a better perspective as to what it is you like.
Okay. Well, again, my full name is Gregory Huggins. And me, I love movies. I love television. I love music. I love entertainment like that. I love visual and audio entertainment. I love it. And so I'm constantly watching TV. Matter of fact, I think I was telling Mo,
But
go ahead.
we're not here to talk about the weather. Wow! Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Welcome back to another episode of Convos with your mom's favorites with hosts Mo and Greg. I am Mo.
And I am Greg.
And we are back with another episode for who?
The people.
How are you doing today, sir?
Good.
Good.
Good. I'm doing good. Better now.
Yeah.
Great. I'm doing great.
Good to hear it. Good to hear it. And Dad, you are also here as well. How are you today, good sir?
I'm doing good. Again, grateful also to be here again, especially for this occasion, but I'm doing good.
Absolutely. We are here to do another episode, a very special episode. This entire episode, we are here to pay tribute to a legend.
No doubt.
Legend.
No doubt.
One of the greatest, funniest people I've ever met in my entire life. Luckily, I have tons of episodes where you can kind of get a glimpse into just how funny, crazy, and just how amazing and even knowledgeable a person Uncle G was. So that is what we are here to discuss. That is the entire purpose of this whole episode. We are just going to be paying homage to a great man who we lost way too early. And that, what I had played was a clip from not his first episode. It wasn't his first episode, but it was an episode that I decided that we needed to take time to learn, who he was and who he is. That episode is called the Tarantino verse. If you have not listened to it, you should absolutely go listen to it. It's a phenomenal episode. I got to listen to it again yesterday when looking for clips to play for today. But yeah, it was I will say that starting off, that calling Uncle Greg to be a permanent co-host was one of the easiest decisions I've ever made.
Oh, yeah.
In that, when I first asked him to record the episode, we talked for like 2 hours and change. It was like over 2 hours and change, right? So that episode I released in 2 parts, and I even like cut some out, and it still ended up being like 2 hours.
Right.
So it was, it was like, and then when I called him back to do another episode, when that happened again, it was almost kind of like, listen, you should just stay here,
Right.
and you should just do this with me regularly,
Right.
because it was like right around the time it was just I was getting it was difficult to find people on a regular to like come and sit down and like line schedules up, and he lived right next door, so I knew where you lived.
Right.
I saw you all the time, so
Just
like
a rail hop over.
yeah, like
Pretty much.
it was super easy to to line up schedules because he was super flexible, super available. So that part was easy. So it made sense because again, this was what we did here was what we did anyway.
Right. And I couldn't have put it better.
Yeah.
Because it's like those conversations captured, I'm like, this is him.
Yeah.
He would talk about these things if given the space to anyway.
Right.
And and for it to, what I loved about like his placement in the podcast is that it's like, one, it's on display because as said in our previous episode, he was easily confused for a stoic.
Yeah.
He was easily confused for a stoic when I'm like, he's actually a Looney Tune.
Right.
So it's, if you really want to get to know my dad, you should listen to Convos with Your Mom's Favorite, featuring host Mo and Greg.
Yes.
Available on all streaming platforms. Like, you know, because that was, I'm like, this is the guy that I've always known.
Right.
And I knew the guy that like people perceived him as, but I'm like, that's the calm down. Moments before then, he probably flicked a booger at me or something like that.
and that is so true. That's really who he was. You know, we even laughing, just talking about his sense of humor. Even when he would come over sometimes and we just hanging out, watch whatever stuff like that, and again, whatever we could find to joke about, we did.
Right.
Even with him going back home and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay here and make sure that you get in the house safely. It was like he's right next door, but again, that was the big joke. Again, silly. He was so silly.
Yeah.
And it I think it's what made us better friends, because you know there's a side to me as well that a lot of people don't know about, just like your father. But together, it was crazy. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it absolutely makes 100% sense why you two were friends. There is no doubt in my mind, because neither one of you, though, same thing. Both of you, like you're confused for these soft-spoken, quiet people. But if only you knew. And I'm glad you're here, right? Because again, as we also talked about in our previous episode about all of the things we get from our fathers.
Right.
Not a serious bone in my body.
No, it's unfortunate.
Not a serious
It's
bone.
so unfortunate.
Not a serious bone in my body, right? And I get it from you, and you get it from your dad, because the two of you together, like, you just knew that whatever, unless it was a necessary conversation,
Right.
Yeah.
the conversation 9 times out of 10 was not serious at all.
And all it was just cracking on each other, finding something silly about each other, going back and forth, and that is exactly what it was.
Yep.
That's all it was.
It was incredible, man. And you know, it was funny because when he first joined the podcast, and our first couple of episodes were very lengthy.
Yeah.
And then it was one day we had to sit down and have like a conversation. We were like, okay. This episode is not going to be 2 hours. And he'd be like, okay, we're going to do it. And then after we had that conversation, the next episode was like 1 hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, okay, it wasn't 2 hours.
It's possible.
So it's possible. It's very possible. And then, you know, even like those things, and trying to make sure that, you know, we kind of condensed the things down. But then there was always still just so much movies and television talk we wanted to have, because it was like, okay. What is the most important thing? And that's what we had to, that was like what we had to figure out and conversing with each other. What was the most important things that we wanted to talk about in front of people, and then everything else we could just talk about after.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, we would record, sit here, and then after we stopped recording, we kept going for like another hour.
Yeah, of course. Because there was it just so much insight.
Yes.
He never, like, he was incapable of experiencing anything surface level. And if he did experience something and he didn't have 5 hours afterwards to talk about it,
Yeah.
probably was asleep. Like, other than that, he never ingested anything like halfway.
Right.
He had plots broken down. He had characters broken down. He had a favorite character. He had a reason why that was his favorite character, and he might have had like, I don't know, like a fan twist to it. Like, you know, it's like his ability to immerse himself in anything was, again, something I often praise him for is that he at 60 plus years old never let the child in him die.
Right.
He had such a connection to his imagination that allowed him to be able to like, it kind of like fall into whatever bit of piece of media he decided to fall into that day, whether it be music, movies, television, comic books, novels, conversations, like, you know, like food that he's eating. Like he had that, like, just, you want to talk about having a quirk, like that was almost like his superpower.
Absolutely. And speaking of food, I'm gonna miss them wings, man. I am going to miss those wings.
Did you learn how to make them?
I did.
All right, so
But
we will.
I'm upset because he took his biscuits with him. He took the biscuits with him.
That's just disrespectful.
I know. He wanted me to be up at like 8 a.m. on Christmas Day. Like, and it's like, Dad, it's like my one day off. You gotta let me sleep this one in.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice, man.
in hindsight, I'm like, I could have got that. I could have made up for that. I could have made up for that later. Like, I could have took a nap.
But no, man, because wrestling pay-per-views will never be the same.
Yeah.
Because it was like every time there'd be a wrestling pay-per-view, I'd invite him and I'd be like, but I'm going to need a pan of wings.
Yeah.
And, you know, he always made that happen, which was awesome and amazing because I've never had wings that, like, they had heat to them, but they didn't, like, burn your palate.
No.
But they were, like, super flavorful. And I don't know how he got them crunchy, but they were also, like, wet at the same time. Like, it was, like, the perfect balance.
They weren't dry.
Yes.
They were not dry, but they were so
dry.
crunchy. It was fantastic.
I never, like, once I watched him make them one time, I was like, oh, that makes total sense. Because I don't know if I could divulge.
No.
Okay, cool.
No. Not like we could talk about it afterwards. We could talk about it afterwards.
Cool.
But we're not divulging secrets here. No,
Okay,
not at all.
Because like once I saw him make them, I was like, yeah, like, duh. Why didn't I ever think about doing that?
Yeah.
And then I made them. I had like a Friendsgiving or something like that, like my partner and I's old apartment on Randolph, and I was like, now's a better time than ever to give it a shot. And then I made them, and I made 3 types. I made buffalo, and then I'm an adventurous eater.
Okay.
So I think what did I make? I think I made buffalo. I think I made a jerk barbecue, and I think I made a Carolina Gold barbecue.
Ooh.
And that was the barbecue sauce that I used was actually my grandfather's barbecue sauce recipe.
Wow.
That I'm the only person also. I don't know how the secret recipes always fall back on me in my house, like
Nice.
in my family.
No,
But
that's dope.
I did that, and I was like, yep, I got the wings, but I never learned how to make the biscuits. I'm gonna have to go to Grandma for that one.
Well, you do that. Well, listen, SummerSlam is August 2nd and 3rd.
What? Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
I'm sorry. I strong-armed myself into subscribing to Peacock
Okay.
because I wanted to watch WrestleMania. Since when did they start doing it in 2 nights?
COVID.
Yeah.
COVID.
Okay.
COVID. Yeah.
Because I was like, what do you mean Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
And
COVID.
then I tried to tell my friend, like, I'm like, yeah, you like, borrow my Peacock, like, whatever, it's no big deal. And he's like, how long is it? And I'm like, you probably got, like, you got 8 hours?
Yeah.
You got, like, 8 hours of time to spare to watch, like, 2 days worth of wrestling. Great. It was a lot of fun. in those 2 days. But I was like, I never realized how far away I was from wrestling until I just randomly picked back up on Monday Night Raw. I have no idea who any of these people are, but I'm like, whatever, The Rock's here.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough. That's good.
I remember him. I know the Rhodes. I know Cody Rhodes. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm in enough. And then I finally got to see a lot of these people wrestle that I've never seen. Like, I'm a big Io Sky fan now. I finally understand the hype behind, and I'm saying all of this, and I'm completely blanking on her name, but you know who I'm talking about. Australian, tall lady. Rhea Ripley.
Yes.
Yeah. She's great.
Yes.
All of the I'm loving what the women are doing in the WWE. I've never seen them wrestle so hard and be so like great. Like you know, they're like it's like
they're not there to just look pretty anymore.
They're not novelties anymore. They're raw, like they're no pun intended, but it's like they're like actual athletes, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Sorry for that side tangent.
Oh, good. But I was just saying that's coming up, so you do have an invite.
Yeah, but getting back to before that, you are invited, and it would be good to kind of get back because it has been a while.
It has been a while.
It has been a while since you've been over here with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So please and I get it because everybody's busy. We're older. You're older. You're out on your own, you guys, or whatever. But when you can, know that you're always welcome.
And I always gotta tell myself that. Like I'm further away, but I'm not far away, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm still only around the corner. So it's like I gotta pop back up ever so often. So I'm gonna, if my schedule if it's on a weekend.
Yeah, it is. I might have gotten the dates wrong, but I know it's like the first weekend in August.
Okay, cool.
The first weekend in August.
And if it's a 2-day thing, I could definitely make that Sunday.
Yeah.
So, and I'll try to make the wings, and I'll let you let you compare.
Okay.
Because I talked to Big Hype. I don't know if I made them as good as Daddy, but they were pretty good in my opinion. Like, so I'm like, I'll let you.
Listen, you have the secrets. I believe in you.
Okay.
I have every faith in you.
Yeah.
Just don't show up without them.
and know that too, as any good cook, they always tend to put their little spin on it.
Yeah.
So yours probably should not taste like his.
Right.
Because it's not him now, it's you putting your spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as long as they are good and all of that, then
listen.
I'm gonna make some wings. I'm gonna save the date. First week of August, Sunday. I'm gonna make some wings. I'm gonna come over. If I could do it, I'll make 2 pairs. Nice. Because I'm gonna want to eat them.
Yeah. So it's a big thing. I've for those events, I do tend to I like big spreads, lots of food.
Oh yeah.
So because for me, I'm not a big football person. So
okay,
wrestling is like wrestling. They're not pay-per-views anymore. They're premium live events.
Stop! I called WrestleMania a pay-per-view.
Yeah, they're not. They don't call them pay-per-views anymore.
You don't buy it, and it's not the one-off thing. It's streaming somewhere.
Yeah, they're premium live events now. But those are like my Super Bowl. So it's like that's where I go all out and make like the big dishes and have the spreads of food. So
okay, cool.
But yeah,
I want one thing, because I almost canceled my Peacock subscription.
Okay.
I'm like, I just used it for WrestleMania. All the movies on there are whack. Like, I'm like, what am I doing here, right? Mm-hmm. But they have every single WrestleMania.
Yes.
And that was so much fun to re-experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seeing a young Shawn Michaels again. And I'm like, what's Stone Cold doing at WrestleMania? And it's like 2003. I don't know when I thought he stopped wrestling. But
Oh no, he's had like a recent match. I want to say within like the last 3-4 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a match too. Like it wasn't like he came out, drank beer, stunned everyone and left.
Right.
He did do that.
Of course.
But he also actually like wrestled a full length match and looked good while doing it.
It was what's his name?
Kevin Owens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't watch the match, but I forgot what I was on. I was probably like on Instagram or on TikTok or something like that, and clips of it came up.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, dude. I mean, Kevin Owens is cool too.
Right.
Kevin Owens is really cool. And but it was cool seeing like Stone Cold still kind of like get after it in his old age. I just saw the Undertaker's coming back, or I don't know if he's coming back. Or did I make that up? I saw like some clip. He did the lights off thing and then lights on thing in the ring.
No, I think he's kind of like, he said he's kind of like done.
Because that's what I thought that was the thing. Like
he showed up
almost like a decade now.
Last year's WrestleMania, in one of the one of the greatest WrestleMania endings ever, because it was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns.
Okay.
They were wrestling each other, and Roman Reigns had the bloodline, or what was left of the bloodline at that time.
Right.
And Cody Rhodes was wrestling, and The Rock was like with Roman Reigns helping him. So then he's wrestling, and then The Rock came out, and they're like beating up Cody Rhodes. But then John Cena came out and was helping Cody Rhodes, and then the rest of the bloodline came out and was helping Roman Reigns, and then the lights went out, and then the gong hit, and then the lights came back up, and it was the Undertaker in the ring, and he chokeslammed The Rock. Like it was like 5 to 10 minutes of just pure nostalgia, and awesomeness in wrestling.
Yeah.
And it was just fun to watch, because it was like it was great for the current younger generation of fans,
right?
But that moment right there was for us.
That was for us.
Right. That was for those of us who remember those gentlemen. And even those have kind of it's been an adjustment this year in watching wrestling, because I will miss forever watching a wrestling match and then hearing bite him, just bite him. And I'm like, dude, they can't do that. But he never cared. Your dad somebody was in a headlock. How do you get out of it? You bite him.
Or you pinch him.
Yes. And I'm like, bro. And, that would always be great. And then even just him sitting there, right? Because he would sit there and we'd be watching wrestling, and then he could like be yelling, bite him, right? Yeah. But then, like, maybe 2 minutes later, you look over, he's knocked out.
Yeah.
Knocked
all the time.
Out.
Like, wow. It's like, what is
and I'm
in
like,
this food? What? But yeah.
It's anywhere. And it was impressive at a certain point. Anywhere, any setting, you give him a chair just like this. 5-10 minutes, he's out. Middle of conversation.
And I was like, bro, that's a skill.
That's a skill.
But it's even stuff like that just to share with you guys. Even stuff like that we joke on. I'm like, yo, dude, that must be some good stuff he was on, man, because you was knocked out real quick, But again, I mean, nothing was off limits between he and I. We could joke. I mean, we could rag each other about everything and anything, and that was again an example. It's like, dude, or even say something like, man, you had the good stuff, and you ain't even share it with nobody, but stuff like that. But we did it all the time. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's always those fun moments, because that even happened. No lie, we went to go see Oppenheimer.
Okay.
And we was like, cool, we're gonna go see Oppenheimer. I found tickets like day of release.
Oh wow.
I was like, hey dude, you want to go see Oppenheimer? He was like, sure. This was tickets for like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, and that's his time to go.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, he's usually like, he's a morning person. I'm not. I'm like late evening.
Right.
Movie goer, but he was like early morning. I'm like, that's great, man. We were sitting there, and I just happened to look over, and he's gone.
Yeah, dude.
Good sleep too, like good sleep.
Like
then
he will take a full on nap.
a full on nap. But what's even more impressive was, right, he woke up. And then we're leaving the theater. The movie's over now, right? And we're having a conversation about the movie. He's discussing parts that he was asleep for.
during.
And I'm sitting there so impressed because I'm like, in the back of my head, we're having this conversation and everything is going well. But I'm like, you're asleep.
Yeah.
How do you know that happened? Because you weren't conscious.
Right.
Like, I looked over at you and you were asleep. Like, mouth, like, eyes closed, mouth open, like, pure sleep. But you were able to still grasp the content that we were viewing together. That's an amazing superpower.
It's like there's an old expression that every shut eye ain't sleep. And while he may, and I mean, again, when you're apparently sleeping and you're getting to where your mouth is open, then most people say, yeah, you sleeping. But again, not saying he wasn't asleep, but again, there was yet still some consciousness somewhere that was aware of what was going on around him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was super impressive to me. Like, I want that. You know what I mean? Like, learning because if I fall asleep in a movie, I'm falling asleep. Right. I don't know what happened. Like, there are still chunks, bringing this up one more time because why not? There are still chunks in the Batman that I missed because I was gone, knocked out.
The Pattinson one?
Pattinson.
Okay.
Like, there are chunks of that movie I don't remember because I was asleep.
Right.
But if it was him, I know he wouldn't have missed those chunks.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And that's just a skill I think we all should have at some point.
I've unfortunately adopted that, but I haven't refined it as well as he did. If I fall asleep in a movie theater, I'm not paying attention to. I was probably bored. And unconscious, and I was like, "How'd you like the movie?" And it's like, I'm actually walking to the front to see if I can get a refund. It's my fault, but I want to see if if I can talk them into it.
Oh no, I agree because I don't. That is one of the few. The Batman is one of 3 movies that I've fallen asleep on in theaters. I fell asleep on the Batman. I fell asleep when I went to see Shrek Forever After. I don't know why I went and saw Shrek Forever After, but me and Will went and saw Shrek Forever After, and I fell asleep in the theater watching Shrek Forever After, and I fell asleep when we went to see A Christmas Carol, the one with Jim Carrey.
Okay.
That one, I had only fallen asleep because I had worked like 4 a.m.
Oh yeah, those are the
to like 3 p.m. because it was like Black Friday. I worked like 4 a.m. to like 3 p.m. and then the movie was at like 6.
Oh yeah, no,
like there's
no buffer time,
none whatsoever.
Not even nothing. No amount of Red Bull. Nothing is going to get you across that river.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
So I was, I missed the first time I saw it. I missed like the second half of the theater. Like I remember seeing the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I knew, he was waking up in his room.
Okay.
After everything had already happened, and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, I'll watch this. I'll watch this again later.
The last time I fell asleep in the movies, I think it was funny enough during Mad Max Fury Road with what's his name?
Tom Hardy.
With Tom Hardy, and I don't even remember. Like, it might have just been late. I think because I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like going to like late night movies was a new novelty to me. So it's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like, me and my friend Mike, we're like, we're gonna go see. I dragged him, but I'm like, we're gonna go see Mad Max, and I fell asleep, and he was like, dude, you're falling asleep, and I was like, trust the process. I'm watching a movie right now. But in the movie theaters, it's impossible for me to fall asleep. That was like the one exception. Like at home though.
Oh, at home I fall asleep all the time.
And it drives me nuts. It really does, because I want to be up, I want to watch the movie, and I do that thing that men do where it's like you're falling asleep and it's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Denial, man.
Yes.
And I'm like, and that makes me mad because I'm like, you're very much falling asleep. Just accept it. Just roll over, lay down.
Just go to sleep.
Just go to sleep. It could be so easy. Pick it back up tomorrow morning. But I refuse for whatever reason, because I want to watch this thing so much that I gotta stay up. I gotta stay up even if I have to stand up in my room, in my living room, for the duration of this movie. I will. But home is miserable. Home is miserable for watching movies and TV shows or anything for that.
Well, I mean, I guess on a plus side, that speaks to the comfortability. That means that you've made good choices with furniture.
Great bed.
That means you've made great choices in furniture.
Great bed. I'm laying down just like this, and I'm just like, this is how I fall asleep. But maybe I shouldn't right now, because I'm watching whichever I'm watching right now, and I'm supposed to be locked in. I'm probably having that conversation with myself on my way out and into sleep.
And I'm sure, like, even like you, because at times that we're like here ourselves watching like, you know, series and stuff like that. Once you get in a recliner and you recline back,
Game over.
I can't tell you how many times I've tossed and turned and even sat the chair back up straight again, because I realized if I don't do that, I'm not gonna make it.
Right.
And even then, sometimes it is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. But yeah, when you're home, it's different. I don't think I've ever fallen asleep. Maybe once at a movie, and I don't really recall. But for the most part, you know, for me, as long as I have, especially if I have like popcorn to whatever,
like,
then I'm good. So there's no falling asleep, because I'm still busy doing something while I'm watching a movie. But like, again, if I'm home or whatever, if I'm just watching TV. It's oftentimes, as Mo could tell you, yeah, like, I didn't make it. I didn't make it.
Yeah. But I think for you just get it from your daddy.
Yeah,
And that's just one more thing we can blame our dads for. You know,
it's I look just like him. Like my partner is taking pictures and videos of me laid out. I got the snoring. I got the head back.
When
mouth open.
I first came down here and sat and looked at you, it's like, oh man, this is not gonna be easy. It's like, because I mean, I've seen it before.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it so much. I guess because it's so apparent now in my face.
Yeah.
It's not like seeing you and then you're gone or whatever. But I'm looking at you for however long period of time we're here, and it's like I see it.
Yeah.
So you are just doomed. You're doomed, bro. But it's okay. I mean, there are worse things in life.
Yeah, there are worse things in life.
there are worse things in life.
It's all good.
I'm so okay with just being a little sleepy.
You could be, yeah. You know, there are worse things in life, like being a fan of WandaVision. But
flag on the play.
I just, you know, that was one of our favorite things to argue about.
WandaVision was probably, I'd argue, and I've only seen probably WandaVision, but I don't need to see any of the other ones, because WandaVision set the bar so high that any other show after WandaVision crumbles.
Could only go higher.
Crumbles beneath the sheer magnitude that is WandaVision. That is the great. It's such a phenomenal story. It's such a phenomenal story. It's just the heartache.
See, that was probably one of the shows that I've kind of dozed off a lot of, because
it's a slow burn for sure.
I must have missed those moments.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a slow burn for sure. I was coming straight off of the momentum, the momentum of the story in the comic books. Because and again, I'm saying all of this, but I think headcanon. Oh, they're gonna yell at me about this, but I think it was Avengers versus X-Men where they kind of like displayed that side of Scarlet Witch and Vision's relationship and the world that she created and stuff like that. I think it was the Avengers versus X-Men graphic novel, but I remember reading that just because it was in my dad's bookcase, and ever so during COVID, like that was a project. I just bought. That was the first time I played Last of Us. That was the first time I played the 2018 God of War. It was also the first time I read The Watchmen and the Doomsday Clock Part 1 and 2. And but that was his bookcase to me. It was kind of just like a library.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what's new? And I picked that up because I'm like, Avengers versus X-Men. That sounds silly. Ha ha ha. Riveting. It's the complete opposite of a silly story. It is such a riveting story, and I haven't read it in a while. I got to go back and I got to read it.
Yeah.
But I remember that part sticking out to me because I think that I was probably like a teenager when I first read it. It was probably like 14, 15 or something like that. And so my what's the word I'm looking for? I guess my understanding of the Marvel Universe is still very much tied to the movies, which in comparison to a lot of the stories in the books are so much lighter. And I remember reading that story and going and just kind of like being shocked at like how heavy these very otherwise familiar characters like Scarlet Witch, Captain America, Cyclops, Wolverine, Beast, Storm, all of these guys, how kind of distraught and like sad everybody is. But in that particularly, like that segment stuck to me all those years after. And when I saw they were doing WandaVision and then I got off the trailer, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. Because they didn't do it like that in the comics. I liked the approach that they took with her happy life, happy marriage, happy family. And because I'm like, what else paints that narrative outside of old TV sitcoms?
Yeah.
Like old family sitcoms. I'm like, that was not because calling it fantastical would be morbid, but it was very curated. It was very curated to an idea of what a family is. So if you write your family to be happy, like she did, then that is what that is. It is written to be happy, and anybody who interfered with that got poofed out of existence. And I was like, this is the greatest show ever. Honorable mention Moon Knight, just because I think he's such a fun character.
He is a fun character.
Honorable mention Moon Knight.
But I think I enjoyed that a little bit more than I did WandaVision.
Fair enough. As Moon Knight being my honorable mention and that being the one that you enjoyed a little bit more than the Holy Grail of Marvel.
Holy Grail!
Wow. Again, this is I'm 10 toes on brittle flooring because I have not seen any of the other shows outside of, again, I watched WandaVision and I watched Moon Knight. And if you want to count like Daredevil, Defenders, and all of that stuff. Yeah. But like the Disney Plus kind of like exclusives, I think the only one I ever watched was, the only other one I ever watched was Moon Knight. Oh. And my dad really tried to get me into them. But I was just like, it's not the movies. Like I wasn't series driven. I wasn't series driven back then. But I'm still on that mission with no time to do so, really, but I'm still on that mission to watch all of his favorite watch all of his favorite TV shows. I'm 3 seasons into Breaking Bad right now.
Okay.
Next stop is Dexter.
What do you think 3 seasons into Breaking Bad?
Oh, I loved it. This isn't my first go-around. This isn't my first
Okay.
attempt. History repeats itself.
Right.
I always seem to stop at season 3. I don't know what it is. I think it's fatigue. Because the story at a certain point gets a little...
Oh, but I'm going to need you to keep pushing.
I know.
Because I'm not going to hold you. I watched the first 3 seasons of Breaking Bad, and I was like, why is everyone so excited? And then I got to season 4, and I said, this is why everyone's so excited.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to pick up it. Because I literally think I'm on episode 1. I think there's like 10 episodes in season 3.
Yeah.
I finished the 10th episode. Cannot tell you what happened because it's been probably 2 months since I finished the 10th episode of the 3rd season. And I'm about to go into the 4th season. Just kind of, I'm gonna watch the Netflix recap. Why not? I like that they.
Oh yeah, no, those are great.
Those are great. Those are great in times
those
like
actually,
this.
yes, where you don't really feel like rewatching the whole thing.
Like the last episode. I'm like, that's an hour. I could have watched the first episode of the 4th season.
Yeah.
By now, but I'm gonna slug through Breaking Bad because those were some of my favorite conversations that you and him had was about Breaking Bad. Because I wanna experience Heisenberg,
Yeah.
the villain. I wanna see, because during, like, you know, I love the building of his character, from his first kill to his not numbness yet. There's still empathy, there's still sympathy with him by season 3, but you could tell very much that he's beginning to relish in the profit that this lifestyle is bringing him. And I'm like, and back to our episode, I love a good villain. I love a good villain more than I do a good hero. So I'm watching his kind of like villain antics and his villain schemes kind of become a little bit more refined as he just does it more and doesn't get caught. Heisenberg kind of has crazy plot armor.
Yeah.
Like he should have been
way before. But you just think suburban teacher.
Right.
I'm
going back to what's his name? Tuco?
Yeah.
In Tuco's in Tuco's kind of like whatever, like quarter in that second, third floor. He's like, "Hey guys, watch this." Whoa, and a bomb.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, and he walked out unscathed. Everybody else was panting and bleeding from their nose, and Heisenberg was like, "Anyway,
Yeah, he's
thank you for the business.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check on my family now." And I'm like, that was like the first time I'm like, now we're getting somewhere. So okay, I only got 2 more seasons. I'm like, what's that?
Oh, the best 2 seasons. Like for me, the last 2 seasons were the best 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay. Once season 4 started, I was like, okay, now I'm locked in.
Okay.
Now I'm locked in. Yeah, so just chug through. You can do it.
I also gotta get into Game of Thrones.
You can do it.
I don't think so, man.
No?
I couldn't get past the incest stuff. It was just gross. It was just gross. No, I lied. I got past that. What was the last thing I watched? And don't get me lying on any of the characters' names. The dragon lady just had the dragon.
Who, Daenerys? Yeah.
She just became the chosen dragon lady.
Yeah.
And I
think she just gave birth to dragons?
I think sure. And I think that was the last thing that happened. I know Jason Momoa's character just died.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what season that is. I think it's like 2. I think I made it to the 2nd season, and then I just shelved it. Because the negative thing with binging stuff for me is I get like burnt out. 15-hour-long episodes in a row. It's like a lot of stuff to consume in like a 2-day span, and I just kind of like get burnt out, and I shelf it after a while.
I can get that. You're not really you don't seem like the binging type.
I don't think so, and I think I gotta accept that. I'm not a binge watcher.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a really short series, but for like hefty series like that, if your episodes are more than an hour long, I think it's alright to take my time.
Yeah.
Over the span of like a few weeks to watch that. I'm sorry for that other tangent.
No, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. I kind of caused it because, I just wanted to relive that argument one more time. Because again, it was one that it didn't take much. Like, we could be talking about anything.
Yeah.
And I would say, I mean, it's better than WandaVision, and then that would just send him somewhere. And then the next thing you know, we're having an argument about WandaVision. And I'm like, okay, it was fun because the arguments would end.
Yeah.
With neither of our opinions changed.
Oh yeah, no.
Neither opinion is changed at all.
You just understand each other's opinion maybe a little bit more.
Yeah,
there might have been
there
might have just been some new insight.
Yeah, there's just a little more compassion
to the same topic, but it's like I'm still 10 toes, man. I'm still 10 toes.
But I think that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, for
you
sure.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's definitely a good thing because to where you can yet still agree on some things, but some things you're just not going to agree on, and it's okay. No matter how the other person may feel about it, but you hold fast to what you like and whatever, and keep it moving.
Absolutely, and that is one thing that we have tried to that we tried our best to like put forth with this podcast.
Yeah.
That like everybody's opinion. That's why, the convos with your mom's favorites was kind of just like pertinent because it was just, bro, we're just talking. It's just, at the time it was two people, sometimes more, just having a conversation. We didn't have to agree on everything on all points, but if we did, cool. If we didn't, that's fine too. Like no stress about it, like, but because it's all subjective. Anyway, it's all subjective anyway.
Because like that's what you guys are into. Like you guys are. It's like nobody's losing friendships over differences of opinion on a movie.
No,
that's like, come on.
It's almost like, and though it's not even to that extent, but even like that scene in the movie Lean on Me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen.
With Morgan Freeman. And
I don't know the other gentleman's name.
The guy who played Benson, Robert Guillaume. And Robert Guillaume is like the superintendent of like the whole district regarding schools, and Morgan Freeman is the principal at Westside High in Patterson, Passaic.
I think Patterson.
And they go at it hot and heavy. And Joe Clark, who was the actual principal that the movie was based upon, he had this mindset to where he was in charge and it had to be his way and stuff like that. He was firing people and stuff like that. And Robert Young comes back and say, "You will do this, you will do this, you will do this, you will do this." And contrary to popular belief, I am the head nigga in charge here, And he goes at it, and he shuts him down. He just totally shuts him down. And then he starts to walk out. And then he says something like, then he turns to look back at Morgan Freeman. "You hungry? You want some lunch?" And again, it's hot and heavy, but that friendship is just still there, even after the fact. And Morgan Freeman kind of walks by and said, "You think you're bad, true?" But that's how it was. So, and again, not that it's ever been that heavy, because it was hot and heavy. Yeah. But that's what real friendship is all about. Even with your father and I, not to say that we always agreed on everything,
right?
But it didn't stop us from being friends,
right?
Let me just share. I saw something a while ago, and I saved it, and I want to just, I guess, bring it up if I can. Yeah, it says Study finds friends who playfully roast each other are more trustworthy and honest. And that's how your father and I was. We would roast each other like nobody's business, but it helped develop the friendship that we had. And that's what I think I'll always, remember and appreciate about your dad, that because we did that, then it just made us better friends.
Right.
So that no matter what else, whenever we did not agree, it never hindered or stopped the friendship, and nothing ever could.
Right.
So
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. I used to love doing that with my dad. Just something that he liked.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, it was.
And then
great.
and then it sparked a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And then, often than not, I'd be like, "All right, I'll give it another try." he'd always in another way. He'd always sway my opinion on it one way or another.
Yeah.
That kind of like, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I never thought about it like that." And then I'll go back and I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
Like, except what I don't agree with him on is the Matrix movie. What was it? Matrix.
The last one?
Resurrection.
Resurrection.
Hot
Garbage, right?
Hot, stinky.
Yeah.
Hot smell.
Mm-hmm.
Just so bad. So bad. And I was like, whatever. Like, if you're gonna do it, great, awesome, fine.
But you could
30
also just
years
not.
later. But like, once they were like, Lawrence Fishburne isn't in the movie, and then kind of like his whole thing is that like Lawrence Fishburne's character is really just kind of like intelligence inside of the Matrix that could take any form and shape at any time. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Where's Lawrence?
Yeah.
Where's Lawrence Fishburne? You brought back. I never remember the young lady's name who plays Trinity.
Carrie Ann Moss.
Carrie Ann Moss. Like, you brought back Keanu Reeves and you brought back Carrie Ann Moss. It's like he didn't need to fight because we knew he wasn't doing that.
Yeah, we wasn't expecting him to do that.
But he could have been the Oracle.
And honestly, in the same way that you aged Jada Pinkett's character,
Right.
do the same thing.
With anybody else who wanted to come
Like
back.
you bring Lawrence Fishburne. Sure, he's not in the Matrix no more. Get that. Cool, but you can't. He can be on the council.
Something. Oh, he could have been on the council.
He could have been on the council
Which is what he was fighting for.
in the first place.
In the first place, in the first three movies. Like, he was fighting for his place on the council because he saw better for Zion. And they called him crazy and and they shunned him. But it's like he could have been on the council because he was right
Yes.
at the end of the day when nobody believed him.
Mm-hmm.
But even though on that, and it brings back to mind a certain moment in a Star Trek movie, but being on the council, but he, while could have, as you said, could have been on the council, but maybe for him maybe he didn't want to be removed from, as opposed to being more involved. There was a scene in Star Trek Generations where Captain Picard and Captain Kirk are actually speaking to each other and stuff like that. And Captain Kirk is now Admiral Kirk. So he doesn't have a ship. He's now, on a council, so to speak, and stuff like that. And they're talking about different things but one moment that I think spoke volumes is the fact that Kirk said to Picard, and whatever you do, don't let them take you out of that chair, meaning the captain's chair. Because he said it's there that you can make the most difference.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He felt that being removed now as admiral, but he's not out there hoping to do whatever he did, so he's done so well throughout all of the movies and the series and stuff like that. So I think maybe possibly either that or maybe Lawrence was just busy or didn't want to do it. Maybe we'll never really know, but I think that maybe for his character, maybe being on the council was not really who he was supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, again, speculation.
I don't think they should have made him AI, though. I definitely don't think they should have made him AI. Not at all. But yeah, man. Stuff and things. Things and stuff. Stuff and things. Really quick, this is like another sidebar.
Yeah.
Have you finished Solo Leveling?
Yes, I did. I finished it a while ago, and it completely left my mind. Yeah. What did you think?
I need Jinwoo to get some competition, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of like
He's got it too easy.
He's
got it too easy.
At a certain point, like, so I guess like my thing with Solo Leveling is like I enjoyed the first couple of episodes
Okay.
where there were stakes.
Yes.
After a certain point,
None.
just started one-shotting whomever the strongest enemy was at the time. And then he took it a step further and started one-shotting whoever the strongest enemy is at that specific time and started collecting their souls to do his bidding.
Yes.
And I'm like, honestly, you gotta respect the game. So I'm like, this is complete nonsense.
Yes.
But I'm having a lot of fun. Same thing with
it's a lot of fun.
One Punch Man. I don't know if you've watched.
No.
Oh man. You've never watched One Punch Man.
I've
Uncle
started.
Kenny, you're putting this on your radar too.
Okay.
And you're watching My Hero Academia.
Okay.
He's not leaving that chair. I didn't get my dad to do it. I couldn't get him to do it. It's your turn now.
Okay.
But One Punch Man, it's a kind of to give you an idea of what I hope you'll get into is One Punch Man is like a kind of like a joke on Superman, on how literally the world around him is falling apart, but the second Superman lands in, the day is saved. So that's why he's One Punch Man. And it's because he and this isn't a spoiler.
Yeah.
Like it's in the title of the series. That's not a joke. He hits whoever the strongest villain is.
Yeah.
And you'll see to what magnitude they take that in the anime. I won't give that away. But whoever the strongest villain is, he's gonna beat them with one punch. Because he's One Punch Man. He's not this. I will say though, and I take an opportunity to share this. He's not the center of the show though, and I just want you to keep that in mind.
Okay.
When watching it, he's not. Despite it being One Punch Man,
It's not about him.
not really.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Not really. And that gave me a deeper appreciation of the show. Because after a certain point, I'm like, who doesn't just like a silly little time? Because that's what One Punch Man became after a while. It just became a goofy little gaff, and I'm like, whatever, all right,
Yeah.
something mindless, something senseless. But after, I think I don't know how many seasons there are. I think there's only like 2. So it's a quick watch.
Oh, that's a quick watch.
Yeah, it's a quick watch. I think there's only like two seasons. By the second season, I was like, I get, like, it just clicked. I was like, I understand it now.
Yeah.
I understand it now, and I was like, oh, this isn't just goofy. I'm like, there's actually like some substance here, and that made the anime a lot of fun. So you should definitely watch One Punch Man.
Okay.
And have you started watching Demon Slayer yet?
I have. I just finished. I didn't finish it at all. I'm in the middle of the Mugen Train.
Beautiful.
I'm in the middle of the Mugen Train.
You're gonna love the Entertainment District arc.
Yeah.
That's the next arc. You're gonna love that. I'm also gonna throw a couple. Now the ball's rolling. I'm gonna throw a couple at you. Full Metal Alchemist?
I can't find it anywhere.
No, you don't have Crunchyroll.
I do. But they told me I should watch. When I went to go look for it, they told me I should watch Full Metal Alchemist before I watch Brotherhood.
No, that's dumb. That's
Oh, okay.
That's dumb. Just watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay.
Because that's what I did. And
Alright.
it's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is Full Metal Alchemist, but in closer relation to the actual context of the manga.
Okay.
So it's about as close to the source material as you'll possibly get in the anime.
Okay.
Just watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. 10 out of 10. I permanently branded my body with several sigils from the anime. I love that anime so much. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. You watch Cowboy Bebop?
I haven't in like a long time.
Oh, okay, cool. But you're familiar.
Yeah.
I watched it for the first time maybe 2 years ago. Yeah. One of my favorite animes.
You know what I just started watching this week?
What?
7 Deadly Sins.
Oh, okay, cool. What do you think?
That show's incredible.
Yeah.
I started watching it. I'm waiting for there was a clip that I've seen. The dude who has the power of the sun.
Escanor, I believe.
Yes.
And he has like the mustache.
Yeah. I saw him and I was like, yeah, I need to watch whatever this is.
Yeah, because he's like the guy. I shelved it after the budget cut.
Yeah.
That I don't know if you got to that part in the anime, but it's.
And so, like, I went back and I started it, and I was like, okay, I'm like 7 episodes in. Where's Escanor?
Oh, he doesn't.
Where is it? Yeah. So then I'm like, so now I'm just getting to what I actually want to watch.
Right.
So we're just, we're chugging along. Yeah. But I can't let this end.
Oh, okay.
Without having a Marvel conversation.
Okay.
Because that is 90% of the things that I talked about with your dad. And we cannot end this without a Marvel conversation because we are almost to July. Meaning we are so close
to Fantastic Four.
To the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
So close.
Yep. I'm dropping the ball. I don't go to the I'd be the worst co-host for this podcast because I the last time I went to the movies was to go see Sinners, and that was probably when it was already out for 3 weeks. I have not gone to the movies in a very long time, but I am scraping up time to go see this Fantastic Four movie because it looks like it's going to be so much fun.
Maybe in the future we need to start including him. At least putting it out there.
Oh, sure. Let me tell you how things would work, right?
Oh, okay.
With your dad.
Yeah.
I would, when movie tickets became available,
Mm-hmm.
I would purchase 3.
Oh, okay.
One for me, one for my dad, one for your dad.
Yeah.
And then I would text him and say, hey, I bought your movie ticket for this movie at this time. Okay? Be ready.
Okay.
And he would say, okay.
Yeah.
If you want,
Yeah.
you can take that slot.
And honestly, I'd be more than honored.
I can definitely make sure when I buy movie tickets, I buy 3, and I will let you know, hey, I bought your movie for this day and this time. It's usually like a Friday evening or like a Saturday afternoon. Yeah.
Then I'm golden.
Yeah. It's usually like a Friday evening, Saturday afternoon when I buy the tickets. So, yeah.
And then I am in because I need to start getting back in. I need to start getting back into those seats, man. I need to start getting back into the movie seats frequently. I almost had half a mind to become like a Stubbs member.
Oh, I am.
Yeah,
it's actually really cool.
Is it really cool?
Yeah, because now you're just like, right? You're just like, because you get like one free movie, like you get like free movies like weekly.
Yeah.
Or it's like 3 free movies a month or like once a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's just like you kind of get to a point where you're just kind of like, what's out?
I'm gonna go see it.
I'm gonna just go see a random movie I'm gonna just go. Honestly, that's how I saw Mickey 17.
Okay, cool.
I was like, I got these tickets to go see free movies.
Right.
Like I became a Stubbs member. It was like, I get free movies. I'm gonna go see a free movie.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
And I went and saw Mickey 17. Yeah. I actually kind of enjoyed that movie a lot.
It's on Max right now. I think I'm gonna go home and watch that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. You enjoyed it, right? You liked that one. Yeah,
it was definitely different, but yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I wouldn't have gone to see it if I had to pay for it.
Right.
But because I had a Stubbs account, I got to go see it for free.
Right.
So I was like, cool, awesome, thanks. And then I went back when Star Wars, when Revenge of the Sith was out. for the
Okay.
20th anniversary.
Yeah.
I went to go see that because I had it for free, so
Right.
I'm gonna go see it. But some jerk at the movie theater pulled the fire alarm,
Oh, brother.
and they couldn't get it to cut off. At first, they were like, "Yeah, just everybody hang out for a bit. You know, this will be it's false alarm. Hang out for a bit. We'll have the movie back playing."
Right.
But they couldn't figure it out to like get it to turn off.
Yeah.
So they were just like, "You know what? We're just refunding everybody their They, like it was like we're refunding you for your ticket, and you got like free tickets."
Oh, okay.
So then I think the next movie I went to see after that, that was when we went to go see Sinners. Well, my second time, your first time, we went to go see Sinners. Like that was completely free because I got the free ticket back that I already had,
Yeah.
plus an additional
Like-
free
like another
ticket,
voucher. Yeah.
plus another voucher for a free ticket. So it was like cool, awesome.
Yeah.
But yo, Stubbs, it's the way to go.
I'm sold, man.
Those free movies.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, is gonna give me the edge on like a Saturday after everything's done.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, or like on a Sunday where really everything's done. Where I'm just like, Newport's right there. I'm going to the movies. I have no reason not to.
Yeah,
And just go see something.
Just go see
Just
something.
go see something. But yeah, segue, but like bringing it back, I'm wicked excited for Fantastic Four.
same. I really am. I hope we finally get in like an amazing Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
How do you feel about the news that just dropped yesterday that John Berthel is reprising his role as the Punisher in Spider-Man 4? Did you see that?
I did, and, you know, and I think I've shared with you before, though, with many times you see stuff, especially on Facebook,
Yeah.
but then you don't really know if it's real or not.
Yeah.
Right.
And I actually meant to ask you about that.
Yeah, that's real.
But okay, but that's cool.
That's real.
It's
That's a
definitely
big deal.
Yeah.
It's
And
definitely cool.
all that's telling me is that it's happening. The immersion.
Yes.
Of like the combination of the series and the movies are finally happening. And Daredevil was the first phase. And
Yep.
I was like, if they do him, then that means we'll probably get Punisher in a cool movie. And if we get Punisher, which is happening, I'm like, fingers crossed. We could get Luke Cage. And then fingers crossed again, we could get Moon Knight. And then we could get like the whole New York City. We could get the New York.
Oh, we are, because they already, thanks to fans who, you know, get really excited and they go to movie sets when they're filming and take TV sets. We know that Jessica Jones is in this next season of Daredevil. She's back, so it's very clear, you know.
Cinema.
They moved them, and you didn't watch them.
Oh no, I watched Jessica Jones.
No, not
Oh.
that. But I meant like Hawk. If you didn't watch Hawkeye,
I did not watch Hawkeye, but that's on my, because that was one of my dad's favorites. That's on my radar.
and that was kind of like that was, if we're being honest, that was the real introduction.
Okay.
Because Kingpin is at the very
Right.
end of that.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember seeing clips.
Yeah.
And reading about that.
Yeah, he's at the very end of that. So they're it's everything is coming back together, and it's gonna be
so much fun.
it's gonna be so much fun, especially now that Marvel is no longer focusing on like just pushing out content.
Oh, thank
And making
God.
sure making sure that they reach a quota, and like that they have like 7 shows and like 8 movies a year. They're no longer like pushing for that. They're just trying to make sure that that like the content is good.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that James Gunn is now on the other side, because he's spilling all the secrets, because he like that was always speculated, but Kevin Feige never confirmed.
Yeah.
James Gunn was like, no. That is absolutely what happened. He was like, they weren't focused on whether things were good. All they wanted to do was make sure that we were putting out at a high clip and getting it out for the people to see.
And that sucks. Like, and it's like people notice that.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing like a good story. I mean, that's what I mean. the action and stuff like that is great in terms of heroes and stuff like that. But if there's no real substance behind it, it's not gonna last.
Which is why I think WandaVision was the best.
And it has to go there, but okay.
I like the way you did that. I like the way you did that.
Because what's
I like the way you
what's a
did
good
that.
show without a good story?
And I agree. Okay. At the end of the day, and I said this to him, I agree. WandaVision was a beautifully told story. My only issue with WandaVision is and was it just involved two of my least favorite Marvel characters.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like,
That was my only problem. It involved
like,
two of my least favorite Marvel characters.
what are you gonna do after that? You know? Like,
Yeah.
It's like it was doomed from the start.
Yes.
I'm actually just happy you gave it an honest shot.
Yeah, and I was because at the time you had to watch everything Marvel put out in order to be fully
in order for you to get it.
and yeah, in order for you to get what is happening in anything else, you kind of needed to watch everything.
Yeah.
And so that was the real reason I watched it, but it was a good story on how to deal with grief.
Grief, yeah.
It was a beautiful story on grief and dealing with it or not dealing with it.
Because that's what she was doing.
That's what she was doing for a long time.
She wasn't dealing with it, and she was just masking her grief.
Yeah.
When it's like, and with not allowing yourself to grieve, it begins to affect others around you.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, none of us are Scarlet Witch, but it's like if you were Scarlet Witch, and it quite literally can crumble reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like the real reality, and not just the one you're fabricating. No matter how real it seemed to her, but that's not. The reality is like Vision's dead.
Yeah.
Vision's dead. You don't have kids. None of that is real. This is real. We're real. You still have your friends. You still have. No, I think Quicksilver was dead too.
Yeah, no, he died.
He was dead.
Yeah,
but it's like you still got your pals.
You still got your friends.
Still got your super pals. Like, so it's like, yeah, it was 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 story. But I took.
Did she though? I mean, she still had Hawkeye, but that was kind of all she really had was like her brother Hawkeye and Vision.
Yeah.
Her brother died. Vision was dead.
If it's at that point, she had already did the no more mutant thing.
Yeah.
And so the X-Men didn't really like her.
Right.
And the Avengers were kind of like the only chance to deal with her because not all of them were mutants per se, but like enhanced by either magic serums, training, or being literal Norse gods and stuff.
Yeah.
like
That's also
like
a thing.
Gamma radiated and all of that stuff. So they weren't technically like. Does gamma radiation technically count as like a mutant gene?
I would say no, but then again, to me, it turns out because it's not a birth, it's not something that you're born with.
Right.
That's the same even with Captain America.
Yeah.
Again, he wasn't born.
He wasn't
with
born.
it,
He was enhanced.
Yeah.
He was essentially
enhanced.
on like super steroids.
Yeah.
And like, so it's like, yeah, like those people weren't affected. So fortunately, there was still like a stopping force, but a kind of immovable object.
But then too, I guess it even makes you think about, based upon the movies, Wanda and her brother were not born either like that. If I'm not mistaken, it was more so because of the stone, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that they were enhanced themselves.
No. One thing that I do remember from WandaVision, you learned that they loosely tied to it. There was another gene. They never labeled it the X gene. It was just they were already like there was already something there in her.
Okay.
But her connection to the stone just kind of brought it out faster and amplified it.
Okay, so they could then maybe if they needed to fall back and say that she was or is
that she is a mutant.
A mutant,
yes,
right.
because they didn't like in the series they never labeled it. They were just like she's got this gene that like always gave her like special abilities, but it was like if she like concentrated really hard, she could slide that remote from one side of the table to the other. Like it was never anything on the level of what she can actually do. That she didn't get until she came in contact with the stone, and her powers were like awakened and like fully awakened and amplified.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't remember that either.
Yeah.
I thought she
and
was.
I don't even care for the show.
I thought. In my head, I was like, yeah, she's a mutant, right? I'm like, yeah, she's. But yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, this was amazing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Very cathartic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know, and I think because well, again, even just seeing you just brings it all back again. But I think to even just be able to finally talk about them, you know, without breaking down, without, you know, whatever stuff like that. But, you know, he's gone, but he's never, ever forgotten.
No.
You know, but it was, I think, necessary, especially for you, you know, whatever, and even you as well, you know, and stuff like that, to really be able to, you know, remember and even share.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key, not even for you guys, but for everybody else who watches, to get a deeper glimpse into who he was and what made him so special. You know, so I think this was definitely important.
Absolutely, because let me tell you, this was not fun for a while. Like, potting was cool.
Yeah.
But it was like, there were so many times I'd be like, yo, I would like go to texting him and I'd be like, I can't do that.
That's been happening, not to end on a sad note.
Yeah.
But like that sucked. I'd see something cool and I'd be like,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So who do I tell? And then and that's the part that hurt the most. I'm like, who do I tell? My poor partner, man. I just come home and I'm just like, you don't even understand how excited I am about this one thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm not the best at it, but it's like sometimes I get the going, and much like this, you turn on the faucet and just let it run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like once you turn on the faucet handle disappears, and you're like, how do I turn off this water? It's getting on the floor, it's getting everywhere, and I'm like,
yeah, absolutely, man. But he will be forever missed. Mm-hmm. He will be forever remembered. Mm-hmm. Convos with Your Mom's Favorite will not. It wouldn't have gotten to where we are without him. And I will forever remember him and be grateful for that. If ever you need to send a text about a really cool thing, you can text me.
I'm curating a list in my mind right now.
No worries.
That I need you to watch.
Yeah.
In alphabetical order.
Yeah. So, you know, I am available.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we will do better at keeping the lines of communication open. Yeah. And just to look out, when do you want that to start with us buying your movie ticket?
I will get back to you on that.
Okay.
Because although my schedule is consistent,
yeah,
it is also always full.
Understand?
So it's like I like the idea, like the Friday evening tickled a part of my brain that it's like, yeah, now that I think about it, I probably really only have those 3-4 hours after work to kind of like do something. And then it's like Saturday into Sunday, it's either friends, partner, not complaining, but like it's like friends, partner, groceries, laundry, chores. Like, you know, it's like it's just adult stuff. Like adult stuff, and then making time for trying to make time for people I'm living with immediately. Like, you know, so it's like it's just that pocket in a Friday probably is the best time to do that. And I'd love to go see. It's funny you mentioned Fantastic Four. I was actually going to ask Uncle Kenny if you wanted to go see Superman, because that was like one of the last things me and my dad talked about.
Yeah.
And it's going to sound, I laugh about it, whatever. I'm like, he kicked it at the wrong time.
Right?
I'm like, so much cool stuff is happening. I'm like, so much cool stuff is coming out. I'm like, dang, you couldn't wait for Fantastic Four? I'm like, because he was also like a big Fantastic Four fan. And I'm like, dang, man. All right, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it was. But one of the last things we talked about was Superman, and because he just called me randomly one night, and I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And I think he asked me. He either asked me about something, and then I asked him about Superman, and I was like, "What do you think about the new guy playing Superman?" And then we just yapped for a little bit, and it's like, you know, famous. Like, or maybe not a famous line, but it's like Jay-Z said, "You want to make God laugh, tell him your plans."
Yeah.
And I was like, this is December. I'm planning this 7 months in advance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to take him to go see Superman. He's going to buy all the snacks and stuff, but I got the tickets. I got the tickets. It's on me, man. And I was like, damn. So it was like, that was one of the things that it was like, I was like, that was like close, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, it would have been an honor. Like, you know, it would have been an honor in him. Like, you know, if I wanted to go see it with you, and like family and stuff like that. I wanted to go see the movie with family. So definitely, we got to go see Superman, because
Absolutely.
that's heavily on my radar. That movie looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and Fantastic Four is heavily on my radar too. And when Avengers comes out, we'll go see that next.
Yeah. You know, it's coming out in December, bro. Like,
oh, it's coming out in December now?
They pushed it back, yeah.
December 2026?
December 2026.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
If they give it to us in 2028, I'll be all right with that.
Yeah. December 2026. And then Secret Wars is December 2027.
Oh, so they're still doing Secret Wars?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I would have thought the big lead up. Well, I guess it technically still is the big lead up. But I thought Doomsday was gonna scrap Secret Wars. But all right, cool.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's still happening.
I don't know what they're doing over there in Marvel Studios at this point.
I'm not sure, but DC looks like they're starting to get their act together under James Gunn.
Starting to get their footing, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that Superman movie looks like it's going to be a blast.
It looks like it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. But yeah, this was amazing. This was awesome. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me again.
Of course.
Never a problem. Never a problem.
Like I said, the chair is always open.
Yeah.
Anytime. Anybody, you know.
I can't express how excited I was to come back.
Yeah.
Because I was like, the first time was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, yeah, if I could do it again, I'll definitely hop on that.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely do that.
Trust, believe you me, we're going to talk about some things in the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But until the next one, y'all, we out.